There is a widespread belief in the world that the lives of American schoolchildren revolve around football. This idea is reinforced by countless Hollywood movies, where the most popular and beautiful girl is always a cheerleader, and her boyfriend is invariably the captain of the football team. The people involved in the story we are about to discuss seem to have stepped off the screens of such films, but unfortunately, the happy ending typical of these movies did not happen in reality. You are watching the DBS channel, and today we will examine the case of Emma Walker. Central High School in Knoxville, Tennessee. The football stadium is illuminated by bright lights, and the energy of the fans is off the charts. The entire town has gathered to support their beloved football team, the Bobcats. The cheerleaders and the school band do not give the spectators a single second of respite. In the fall of 2014, a new face appeared among the cheerleaders. 14-year-old Emma Walker became the only freshman to make it onto the team that year. Everyone around her described her as a cheerful, energetic girl with a charming smile. Emma took her new activity with great responsibility, and she truly enjoyed the atmosphere of football competitions. However, despite her success in sports, Emma was also an extremely intelligent and diligent student. She dreamed of becoming a nurse in the neonatal unit to care for sick or prematurely born babies. During cheerleading practice, Emma caught the attention of one of the football team players who played the receiver position, Riley Gaul, known simply as Riley among his friends. He noticed Emma on the edge of the football field, and a spark immediately ignited between them. Riley, who was only 2 years older than Emma, had already managed to become the best player on the team and gained considerable popularity among his classmates. He was a member of the local church, loved video games, and according to his friends, had a rather specific sense of humor. At the time he met Emma, Riley was already in a romantic relationship with another girl. But soon after, he ended that relationship to start dating Emma, the most talented player on the school football team and a charming young cheerleader. In American high schools, such couples are simply destined to become popular among their peers. Riley quickly found common ground with Emma's family, and as her parents recounted, he made the impression of a pleasant, well-mannered, and polite young man. But after some time, their opinion of him changed when they learned that Riley had kept his promise to his ex-girlfriend and went with her to the junior prom. As for the senior prom, he went with Emma. Emma's parents considered such behavior frivolous and were displeased that, in their opinion, their daughter was not a priority for Riley. But Emma herself didn't seem too bothered by it. Her social media pages were filled with photos of her and Riley together, showing the couple having fun and spending time with each other. Emma's friends didn't know Riley well as a person. At first, they justified this by his shy and reserved nature. But over time, it became apparent that this was not the case, and they began to consider the guy somewhat strange. Many of them noted that Riley's behavior gradually revealed his desire to isolate Emma from communicating with anyone but himself. He showed himself as a jealous owner who seeks to control the girl's every move. Emma's friends, concerned about the situation, shared their fears with her. They warned that such relationships rarely lead to anything good and advised her to reconsider whether she really needed it. However, Emma dismissed their concerns, assuring them that it was just an outward impression and that there was nothing to worry about. Emma's parents, in an attempt to put an end to their daughter's toxic relationship, took away her phone to prevent contact with her boyfriend. But Riley found a way out. He bought Emma an iPod Touch so they could secretly text each other. Over the course of 2 years, the couple broke up and got back together many times. But with each breakup, their relationship became increasingly poisonous. The breakups became more serious and dramatic, and the fights more frequent. Riley constantly called Emma and bombarded her with messages one after another. When the girl got a job, he could wait for her at the entrance for hours to continue the conflict face to face. Once, in a fit of emotion, he even shouted, You're dead to me. I'll write your obituary." But every time an offensive message was inevitably followed by an apology. "I'm sorry for my behavior. You're the most precious thing in the world to me." As Mark and Jill, Emma's parents, recount, they repeatedly tried to persuade their daughter to end the relationship. "He found a way to distance her from us and convince her that he was her only one," Jill shares. The more they tried to prevent Emma from seeing Riley, the more actively their daughter defended him. By the fall of 2016, the situation remained unchanged. Riley had enrolled in Maryville College, located a half-hour drive from home, while 16-year-old Emma continued to attend high school. "I wish you would come back to Knoxville. I miss the days when we could see each other every day," she wrote to him. At the end of October 2016, Emma's parents, in a desperate attempt to help their daughter, forbade her from going anywhere except school and cheerleading practice. They began closely monitoring where she went, whom she met with, and what she did. And amazingly, it yielded the desired results. As Emma's father, Mark, notes, she began spending more time with her family and friends again, and her cheerfulness returned. Moreover, in correspondence with her friend Keegan, she reported that she and Riley had broken up peacefully after she saw photos of him hugging girls from his college. Emma's friends breathed a sigh of relief, as they had feared that Riley would not let her go so easily. On Friday, November 18, 2016, with her parents' permission, Emma went to a party at her close friend's house. Around 11:30 p.m., her friend Zach also arrived there. Emma quickly pulled him inside and told him that she was receiving mysterious text messages from an unknown number. One of the messages said, "Come outside alone if you don't want someone close to you to get hurt. Take your keys and go to your car. Otherwise, it won't end well for him." Emma assumed it might be a prank by one of Riley's friends. In response, she wrote that she would go to the police, but the threat had no effect, and the messages became even more alarming. One of them said that Riley's body had been dumped in front of the house. Emma and Zach went outside and saw that someone was indeed lying face down in a ditch nearby. It turned out to be Riley. When they approached him, he was holding his head and seemed disoriented. The guy said that he had been kidnapped and had no idea how he ended up there. Emma burst into tears and said through her sobs that they had broken up and asked him to leave her alone. Then Riley, extremely depressed, got up and walked down the street alone. On the way, he called his friend Noah, telling him about the kidnapping. But Noah didn't believe a word he said. Emma spent a restless night with her friends, and after 10 a.m., she headed home with her friend Haley, who lived nearby. As the girls were approaching the house, they noticed a suspicious young man dressed all in black walking down the street not far from Emma's place of residence. After dropping off Haley, Emma returned home alone. She went inside intending to change clothes before meeting her mom, but the mysterious stranger returned and started knocking and ringing the doorbell. The frightened girl sent messages to her friends, and also to the person who, in her opinion, was always ready to come to her aid, Riley. In the message she wrote, "I hate you, but I need you right now." He replied that he was rushing to her, and when he finally arrived, the mysterious stranger was gone. However, Emma's friend Haley claimed that she recognized Riley himself as the guy in black. According to her, she saw his car parked nearby, and even sent him a message asking what he was doing near Emma's house, to which Riley replied with a denial. Jill Walker, Emma's mother, having received an alarming message from her daughter about the suspicious stranger, came home and found Emma talking to Riley in the yard. The woman reminded the couple about the undesirability of his presence near her daughter and asked him to leave. Emma was trembling with fear, worried that it could have been a robber trying to break into the house. Jill, on the contrary, doubted the coincidence of the situation, but Emma continued to insist on Riley's non-involvement in the incident. After this incident, Jill and Mark Walker, extremely concerned about their daughter's safety, decided to drive the girl to work themselves in the morning, spend the day with her there, and return home together in the evening. The evening of Sunday, November 20th, 2016, at the Walker family home was quiet and peaceful. Emma was chatting with her friend Keegan and went to bed around midnight. Shortly after midnight, Riley, who had returned to Maryville, asked his roommate to borrow his phone. From this phone, he called Emma, and as Riley himself later claimed, during the conversation, Emma told him about her unwillingness to be together. According to him, after that, their conversation was suddenly cut off. Then Riley bombarded Emma with numerous text messages and made about 40 calls, leaving a myriad of voice messages on the answering machine. However, Emma did not respond, and eventually, Riley stopped trying to contact her. In the middle of the night, Mark, Emma's father, woke up to the sound of footsteps in the house and 2 slams of doors. He got up, walked around the house, looked into the bedrooms of Emma and her brother, but noticed nothing suspicious. Assuming that he had imagined it, Mark returned to bed. Around 6 in the morning, Jill went to Emma's room to wake her up for school. She called the girl by name, but she did not answer. Approaching the bed, the woman touched her daughter's leg, but Emma remained motionless. Looking at the girl's face, Jill immediately realized the need to call an ambulance immediately. Emma was pale and her lips had turned a bluish tint. Jill tried to feel for a pulse, but to no avail.
What's going on there?
I'm just trying to wake up my daughter for school, and she has no pulse.
Stay on the line. I'm transferring you to Rural Metro.
Rural Metro, can you tell me what's going on? She's non-responsive. She's gone. Okay, is she breathing? No. Her tongue's hanging out of her mouth. Is she laying on her back? Yes.
16-year-old Emma Walker was dead. Soon, the police arrived at the Walker house. Near Emma's mouth, a small amount of blood was found, and everything indicated that she had vomited after swallowing something. However, the police officer's attention was drawn to a barely noticeable but extremely suspicious hole in the wall of Emma's bedroom. It was a bullet hole. While the girl was sleeping, someone had shot her in the head through the wall. 2 shell casings were found outside the house, and law enforcement needed to determine where the second shot had hit. After examining the perimeter of the house, the police eventually discovered another bullet hole at approximately the same height as the first one. This shot was also fired in the direction of Emma's bedroom, and its exit hole was located directly next to her bed. Both holes were located about 1.5 meters from the bedroom window, and the shots were fired between 230 and 300 a.m. One bullet hit the girl behind her left ear and probably instantly took her life. The second bullet got stuck in Emma's pillow. Whoever committed this crime knew exactly the location of the room and the position in which the girl would be lying. Social media exploded with sympathetic messages about Emma's tragic death. Among them were tweets from Riley Gaul. "I love you, Emma. I can't be there yet. It's too soon. I know that. You know how much I want to be there. But I understand that I can't. I love you. My beautiful Emma." 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 8. Be sure to remind God about it. I love you. Forever and always. Every day without Emma Walker. I love you, beautiful. And I know that you are in a better place now. During one of the matches of the local football team, the cheerleaders released pink balloons into the sky in memory of their prematurely deceased friend. When the police began questioning Emma Walker's family and friends, one name invariably came up again and again: Riley Gaul. Some of Riley's friends, concerned about his condition after Emma's passing, told detectives about a secret he had shared with them the day after his alleged kidnapping. According to them, Riley said that he now feared for his own life, so he was carrying his grandfather's pistol with him. He even showed this weapon to his friend Alex. Another friend of Riley's, Noah, told investigators that Riley had inquired about how to get rid of fingerprints on a gun. However, Riley noted that he was asking not for himself, but for his roommate. It is noteworthy that just one day before Emma's death, Riley's grandfather reported the disappearance of this very pistol to the police. Riley also asked his friends Noah and Alex to help him get rid of the weapon by throwing it into the Tennessee River. But according to him, it was not at all because it had anything to do with Emma's death. He allegedly wanted to get rid of the pistol because he was afraid that it might get him into trouble and the police would try to link him to the case. On the day of the tragedy, the police talked to Riley for several hours, and the more he spoke, the more gaps appeared in his version of events.
I heard a stray bullet came to the wall, but that made no sense to me because it's her room. If a stray bullet hit the wall, so it would have to be from the backyard because that's where her window is. No, I don't know, that one didn't make sense to me, but those are the main 3.
Despite his assurances that he was in Maryville at the time of the crime, an analysis of his phone revealed that this was not true. According to satellite data, at midnight, his phone was on the highway on the way from Maryville to Knoxville. Moreover, around 3:45 a.m., his phone was detected near Emma's house, while, according to the forensic examination, the girl died between 2:30 and 300 a.m. The officers also questioned Riley about the gun and all the information obtained from Noah and Alex, but he denied ever discussing anything like that with them. The detective asked him, "Did you ever talk to Noah about removing fingerprints from a gun?" Riley replied, "No." At this stage, Riley remained the only suspect, but there was still insufficient evidence for an arrest. As soon as he left the police station, he sent a message to Noah and Alex, asking them not to communicate with the police anymore and ordering them to delete all messages from him. Riley had no idea that his friends would ignore his request and continue to cooperate with law enforcement, as they had been doing from the first minutes after learning about Emma's death. They wanted to assist the investigation and knew they could help find the murder weapon. At first, the police hesitated, warning about possible risks to their safety. But Alex and Noah resolutely stated that it did not scare them, and they were determined to help solve this case. I wasn't afraid for myself. I was afraid that if we didn't do this, no one would answer for Emma's death, said Alex McCarthy. In close cooperation with the police, Noah and Alex devised a plan to expose Riley's lies. They agreed with him to supposedly help throw his grandfather's pistol into the river. According to the plan, the police were to wait nearby and arrest Riley as soon as he took out the weapon. Alex and Noah, in turn, were supposed to send the officers a code word that would serve as a signal for action. The guys were equipped with microphones and hidden cameras, and the operation finally started.
They interrogated me for 2.5 hours. If they could, they would have arrested me already.
After filming this video, all three of them went to the river, picking up the gun that Riley had been hiding in his stepfather's house the whole time. When they finally arrived at the location, Riley pulled out the gun, intending to get rid of it. But thanks to Noah and Alex, the police were already on standby. 48 hours after the discovery of Emma's lifeless body, the perpetrator was arrested. Riley Gaul was charged with the murder of Emma Walker. In the trunk of his car, the police found black clothing and shoes. It became evident that a few days earlier, it was Riley who was the mysterious stranger in black who had been pounding on the door of the Walker family's house. The trial of Riley Gaul began only a year and a half later, and he pleaded not guilty. He chose not to testify, and his lawyers did not call any witnesses. The defense was not built on an attempt to deny the fact of the shots. Their main goal was to prove that the bullets that took Emma's life hit her accidentally. They insisted that by shooting at the walls, Riley was simply trying to scare Emma. He supposedly could not have imagined that the bullets would go through the walls. Thus, he allegedly wanted her to get scared and turn to him for help, and then he would have a chance to restore their relationship. His lawyer stated that Riley wanted Emma to see him as a hero who had rushed to save her. But everything went wrong when the bullets hit the young girl sleeping peacefully in her bedroom, taking her life. Further, the defense appealed to the jury, stating that even if they found him guilty, it could only be manslaughter, which, by the way, carries a much shorter prison sentence compared to intentional murder. Lawyer's statement, everything they say about intent towards Emma Walker, is fully consistent with an attempt to scare her. Because by scaring her, he hoped that she would contact him, and he would try to rekindle the relationship. I'm not saying it's logical. Don't think I'm claiming that there's any logic to it, because there isn't. But it fits the facts known to us from the witnesses. It fits the facts stated by the prosecutor. And we know that such behavior was typical of Emma, as she had recently already asked Riley to save her. However, the prosecutor insisted that it was intentional murder motivated by anger.
I knew how to fire a gun. I thought that he pled guilty in the beginning of this case to shooting a firearm into an occupied dwelling. I thought he did that. And so the relevance of whether or not he knew how to shoot a gun was gone. It doesn't matter. He knows how to shoot a gun. He admits to it. And so yet you spend time in your closing argument to say why he's only learned from PlayStation and to Call of Duty and wall banging that you can shoot through walls with a gun. It's a waste of your time. He knew how to shoot a gun. He pled guilty to shooting a gun.
Will you please stand? Mr. Gilder, in count one, the first defined offense charging the defendant with first-degree murder, did the jury reach a verdict?
Yes, we did.
What is your verdict?
Guilty.
And for the lesser included offense of stalking, did the jury reach a verdict?
We did.
What is your verdict?
Guilty.
The jury found William Riley Gaul guilty of first-degree murder, as well as stalking, theft, and illegal possession of a firearm. In the state of Tennessee, a conviction for first-degree murder automatically carries a life sentence. Riley Gaul was sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole no earlier than after 51 years. By that time, he will be over 70 years old. In May 2021, it became known that Riley Gaul was trying to seek an acquittal, citing insufficient evidence. However, his petition was denied. Emma was supposed to graduate from high school in 2018, but instead, her family received her diploma. Her graduation cap and gown lay on the chair that would have been her seat. At the school where she studied, a scholarship was established in her honor. Jill Walker, Emma's mother, said that her daughter's love for animals and desire to become a nurse for newborns eloquently testify to the kind of person she was. Since then, the Walker family has opened a dog shelter and a neonatal rehabilitation unit at the Children's Hospital of East Tennessee, which also bear Emma Walker's name. According to Jill Walker, everything they do is aimed at ensuring that people remember Emma and never forget that they should always be a little kinder. The story of Emma Walker and Riley Gaul is a tragic tale that, unfortunately, is not an isolated case in our society. Too often, we hear about young lives cut short due to toxic relationships, obsession, and violence. This case has become a painful reminder of the importance of vigilance and awareness of the signs of dangerous behavior in our loved ones. Regardless of whether you are a parent, friend, partner, or child, your personal safety should always come first. If you notice alarming signals in the behavior of someone in your circle, they should not be ignored. Excessive jealousy, a desire to control, emotional manipulation, and other forms of abusive behavior should never be perceived as normal. These red flags can be warning signs of potential danger. In such situations, it is vital to seek help from appropriate support services. Do not be afraid to share your concerns with trusted people, parents, friends, teachers, or professionals. There are special hotlines and organizations ready to provide counseling and assistance to those who find themselves in toxic or abusive relationships. Do not hesitate to reach out to them. It can save your life or the lives of your loved ones. Remember that you are not alone in this struggle. Too many people suffer in silence, afraid to speak about their pain. But silence only gives the abuser more power. By telling your story, you not only liberate yourself, but also empower others to do the same. Together, we can create a society where toxic relationships and domestic violence have no place. The tragedy of Emma Walker is a call to action for each and every one of us. We must be vigilant, attentive to alarming signs, and ready to intervene when necessary. We must raise our children in a spirit of respect, equality, and nonviolence. We must build a world where every person feels valued, loved, and protected. Let Emma's story serve as a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of caring for one another. Let her legacy live on in the good deeds of her family and in society's determination to put an end to domestic violence. And let each of us find the strength to be a light in the darkness for those who need it. Because only together, by taking care of each other, can we prevent such tragedies in the future and build a world filled with compassion, respect, and love. Friends, I'm grateful to you for watching until this moment. Know that you are the best. Write your thoughts about this case in the comments, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. I love you all immensely. I also invite you to watch my other videos. Believe me, they are no less interesting. I'm waiting for you there.